Good morning. Donald Trump is still a fascist, an awful person. I don't care if I'm glad there may be peace in Gaza. I think that is incredible. I'm insanely happy that the hostages who are still alive are being released. Glad that that a prisoner swap is happening. But that changes nothing. Donald Trump is a dangerous fascist, and the only way we can stop him, the only way, is if we show up and flood the streets with nonviolent resistance this Saturday, October 18th. I am telling you this because the Trump administration knows it. They are going full court press against this protest. They want you to believe, I don't know what, that somehow there'll be paid protesters there. Guys, no one's paying you. I don't care if the Trump administration says you're going to get a check, which only helps people show up. There are no checks coming to you, right? Just show up and protest. And let me share with you right now a study in contrast. Who would ever think, and I need you to think about this, who would ever effing think that Bernie flippin' Sanders, who defines himself as a democratic socialist, he is an independent who caucuses with the Democrats, Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont. Who could ever imagine that Bernie and George Conway, the conservative who was at one time married to Kellyanne Conway, that's not his only claim to fame. He is a long-time conservative. He was one of the people who helped advise on the Clinton impeachment back in the day. And I don't mean Hillary Clinton. I'm talking about her husband. You might remember Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State who ran for president, has a husband. His name is Bill. Anyhow, I need to show you right now, first, Bernie, and then George. And yes, they both go by their first names. Okay, let's do it. There'll be more news today, but it's Monday morning. And we need to plan for Saturday. There is nothing more important in our democracy, and it will be joyful. Let's play Bernie.
Speaker Johnson, the No Kings rally on October 18th is not a hate America rally. In fact, it's quite the contrary. It's a love America rally. It's a rally of millions of people all over this country who believe in our Constitution, who believe in American freedom, and are not going to let you and Donald Trump turn this country into an authoritarian society. It's a group of people who are disgusted that you and your friends want to double healthcare premiums in this country and take healthcare away from 15 million Americans. The right to protest is what America is about. You are not going to stop us.
Okay. So that was in response. That was Bernie, something he put up the other day, in response to Speaker Mike Johnson claiming that to protest Donald Trump's awful policies, selfish, hateful, dangerous, murderous when it comes to RFK Jr., these policies, to protest them is what America is about. So, Mike Johnson, you have lit a fire under Bernie Sanders. And today, this very morning, my friend George Conway texted me a link to his video that just dropped. And I said, thank you. I'm going to show this on my show. And he gave me a heart, little heart emoji. See? George is just like you and me. Let's play it. This is to die for. So focus. If you're just listening to the show, this would be a good time to watch. This is well produced. Frightening, but it's our reality. Let's go.
Authoritarianism. It's a cancer. The symptoms are here. Today, masked agents grabbing people off the streets, the government threatening and prosecuting political opponents, attacks on free speech, soldiers in our cities. We thought it couldn't happen here. Other places? Sure. Italy in the 20s, where fascism was born. Chile, Russia, Venezuela, Hungary. And now, the disease is growing. The cancer metastasizing in America. Now. But there's a cure. It requires you. On October 18, at the nationwide No Kings protests, Americans will stand up peacefully for what makes America, America. Scan the QR code to find your local No Kings event. Show them you're not afraid. Do it for the country, for the Constitution, for your family, for yourself. Do it for your freedom while you still can.
Now I am going to scroll back. So if you are watching this on a laptop or another kind of computer or television screen, I want you, there we go. There's the QR code. You can scan it in. Of course, there is another way. We always have Deb dropping in the chat the link. Okay, now let's talk about costumes. I heard Christina Weibel, people, you can also make your own costumes if you don't have the money to buy. You must be reading my mind. Okay, there's going to be news, but I am planning. I got stuff on my mind. So you probably know, this already. We have seen these scenes, right? We know that there has been a lot of frog symbolism, right? This is a great poster. It says resist, and you have someone in a frog costume up against the fascists. So I have been thinking a lot about frogs, as have the people in Portland. And so instead of Antifa, they're calling it Amphifa, amphibians against fascism. So I'm really loving this frog theme and this entire costume theme.
Finally, about time.
Now, sorry, the inflatable costumes have arrived in Broadview, Illinois, not just Portland. Let's watch this.
Finally, about time.
This is what democracy looks like.
It's going to be really bad for the Trump administration if someone starts shooting at people in inflatable costumes. I'm just going to put it out there. I think you're going to be pretty damn safe if you are at a protest where people are wearing inflatable costumes, right? So it got me thinking. It really did. It got me thinking. Let's look at more of these about what, honest to God, what costume should I wear? Like usually I got my camera. I've got a protest poster that says fuck fascism. Thank you, Michael. We'll put those up if you want to download them. But recently, of late, like over the weekend, I was actually searching inflatable costumes, like inflatable frog costume, right? And I know that we don't always love, and I know this, to use Amazon because, George Bezos, billionaire fascist, I shouldn't call him a fascist, oligarch, guy who rose to wealth by dodging local taxes, depriving communities of sales tax, and so on. That aside, I need a flippin' costume. And whoever's selling them is making money, not just Bezos. And I don't know who it is, but I need you to help me in the chat decide which costume I should buy. Okay. And I hope Michael's not watching because he might be thinking, you don't need a costume. I don't know what he's thinking, but he'll go with it. I really think these aren't super expensive. So I have pulled up from Amazon inflatable frog costume. Are you guys with me? Yeah. And so the real question is, first of all, my friends, should I get an inflatable frog costume? Oh, Wonder Woman. Hell yes. Oh, okay. Inflatable costume. Let's see if we can get inflatable Wonder Woman. I don't think so, but let's look. Wonder Woman, probably 2 words. Inflatable. Guys. These aren't inflatable French fries. Okay, cats. Okay, I'm going to go back to inflatable costumes, and I need people to help me. I'm going to buy one right now, not like on screen, but I'm going to pick it. Okay, so I need you to know, should I be the inflatable? You got some choices. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. I'm gonna back out so you can sort of see me. I'm actually considering many a choice. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, it could be the inflatable octopus. That's pink, kind of fucking awesome, super smart animal, kind of can move and groove anywhere. Another choice would be a dragon, a dinosaur, or the left shark from the Super Bowl. Remember that? Or a frog. Okay, so we've got 5 choices. Okay, I'm seeing shark. Someone says something blue. Are you thinking, oh, My Little Pony? Go with the octopus. I like the octopus. Okay, it's now down to, I like the octopus so much, you guys. Michael. Oh, Jason likes the shark. Okay, I don't want to betray anybody. So, okay, I could buy 2 and give 1 to a friend. I'm feeling the octopus. Oh, but he hates sharks. Okay, guys, I need a vote. It's down to the octopus or the shark. It just is. Okay. Oh my God, Nick gave me $2 to help me buy my costume. Okay. Sharknado. Okay. Octopus. Guys, Michael voted octopus. And he usually helps me pick out my crazy clothes. Okay. I can get this by. It's expensive. I'm buying it. Oh, wait. Shit. It's for boys and girls. Doesn't matter. My legs will just stick out. Okay. It's suitable for girls and boys who are up to 59 inches tall. Shit. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you tell me, costume people. I'm buying it. Add. Okay. I'm not going to have you see my address. I'm going to stop sharing while we're talking. I'm adding this to my cart and I'm proceeding to check out. And it's going to come here tomorrow. Okay. And I'll try it on. Show more addresses. Here we go. Deliver to that address. And place my order. Oh my God. That was $28, but I've already crowdfunded this. Hell yes. Okay. Lori Mars 411. Well, she could wear it. I think I can wear this. Okay. It's going to show up tomorrow, the 14th. Now it's going to show up, you guys, after the show. So guess what? On Wednesday's show, I am wearing the octopus costume. I am going to do the whole damn show in it, see how it goes, see if I can talk in it. If I can, I'll take it off. I don't know how I'm blowing it up. I can't even blow up a beach ball without getting asthmatic. So maybe it comes with some kind of pump. I'm going to figure this out, friends. Now, I'm feeling bad. I feel bad. Jason, I know you really liked the shark. So Jason, do you want to wear the shark costume? Because I can send it to you. Or maybe let's see how the octopus works. And maybe Michael will have to be the shark. Maybe that's going to happen how it is. Okay. Thank you guys for indulging me on my shopping trip. Now let's get back to the point of this. They are flipping out. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is this morning on the news talking about the problems with No Kings. Let's play it.
But again, the No Kings protest, Maria, really frustrating. I mean, this is part of Antifa paid protesters. It begs the question, who's funding it? But yeah, Democrats want to wait for a big rally of a No Kings protest when the bottom line is, who's running the show in the Senate? Chuck Schumer's not running the show. The No Kings protesters or organizers are running the show. Is AOC threatening a primary against Chuck Schumer? Is she running the show? But you need a strong leader in the Senate to take control and make decisions. And Chuck Schumer's blowing in the breeze. He has no...
The Senate Majority Leader, his name is John Thune. He is a Republican. The House, Speaker of the House, is Mike Johnson. He's a Republican. The president of the United States is Donald Trump. He's a fucking idiot. The idiot Republican Party has both chambers, the presidency, and there's even a majority of them on the Supreme Court. So go at it. If you think we, the people, are leading the Senate, damn it, I love it. I don't care if you think Chuck Schumer is doing a bad job. I don't actually care. I don't. Now, let's talk about why, and I'm going to get to Donald Trump's crazy paranoia in a moment. Why are we here? I think I really want to share with you the pastor who got pepperballed. Do you remember him? That pastor, I'm going to show you those shots. Remember this was in Illinois. This is, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is different. This is the priest who got pepper sprayed in the head. There was separately, a pastor in Portland. And I want to share with you, he made the rounds on TV this weekend. And here we go. Let's play this.
Saying that what they are alleging there is not true. I want to show another moment, Reverend, where a large group of ICE agents are walking towards you. So here they are. They're walking towards you. They're shoving you. I just want everyone to get a chance, and now they can see you. They know who you are there. You're obviously in.
I was right in the first place. This is that same guy, not the Portland guy. So let's go and listen. Someone has to say it. This is the hot pastor. I mean, he's just adorbs. Okay, let's go.
You're saying that what they are alleging there is not true. I want to show another moment, Reverend, where a large group of ICE agents are walking towards you. So here they are. They're walking towards you. They're shoving you. I just want everyone to get a chance, and now they can see you. They know who you are there. You're obviously you've got your clerical collar on. They are spraying what appears to be pepper spray at that time directly into your face. This, I've been, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe is after you had been hit with the pepper balls in the head. Do you know why they did this to you?
No, there was no warning for any of these things. After they shot me in my head and my face and multiple times in my torso, arms, and legs, I was shielded by the bodies of others who were there, who rushed in to support me and took many more hits that were intended for me. I was then guided away to a place where street medics helped to wash out my eyes and try to keep me safe. But I was completely disabled at that point. And within 2 minutes, quite a number of ICE officers, maybe 15, maybe 20, rushed out of the gate and began to shove us down. And I was already disabled on the ground, but attempted to get away. And they continued to shove us in a kettling maneuver towards a place where we would not be able to escape as they brandished their weapons. And you can see in that video, ICE officers shoving protesters who were standing and speaking and chanting and singing peacefully and praying peacefully, shoving us down and then dispensing a huge amount of chemical weapons onto us. I was drenched from the crown of my head to the socks in my shoes. It was indiscriminate and it was vicious.
I know you said that they were laughing. There were some of the agents laughing after this happened. Can you tell me more about that, what they did, and at that moment, what you thought?
Yeah, we could hear them laughing as they were shooting us from the roof, and it was deeply disturbing. We've gotten to witness a few things about these ICE agents operating in Broadview, and really what it has shown us is how disorganized they are and how poorly supervised and trained they are. We've also heard ICE agents talking to each other, one of whom said, man, I don't even remember why I'm here anymore. And the other said, I don't know either. So there's a deep demoralization that we are seeing as we're bringing this peaceful and spiritual protest against their tactics and what they are doing to our city and our communities and our neighbors. And I'm grateful to show up with these protesters, people who deeply believe in democracy and are bringing peaceful and moral witness against what the Trump administration is trying to do in Chicago.
So again, I know I was getting him confused because believe it or not, And, there are other places where pastors are being shot at. So this is this guy in Illinois, near the Broadview facility. Guys, it is demoralizing, but what is encouraging, what is actually encouraging, is that we can make a difference. We can do this peacefully. We can go up against somebody who is an absolute maniac. Now, I want to share with you now, not to hold it back, because I've got more news, but I want to share with you so you can see it, listen to it. Donald Trump, who was on Air Force One yesterday night, flying to the Middle East, where he appeared, as you know, this morning at the Knesset, so he can kind of take his victory lap around this establishment of the ceasefire and release of hostages. So this is the audio of him on that plane speaking with Steve Doocy of Fox News. Let's go.
You had talked a couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview, and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay,
That's right.
I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven. I'm not sure.
I might not be heaven bound, and he's laughing about it. I'm not Christian, but there is that thing on the Sermon on the Mount about how it is easy to get a rich man into heaven as a camel through the eye of a needle. Maybe he's got people at the White House working on that. I don't know. Let's keep playing.
Maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly in Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven, but I've made life a lot better for a lot of people. And, as an example, had the election of 2020 not been rigged, you would have millions of people living just in Russia, Ukraine alone.
So this is what he believes. He also was boasting about resolving 8 wars today. Okay, so he's an inveterate liar, adjudicated rapist, fascist, helping his billionaire friends make money, and totally incompetent. And I want to show you one example, yet another example, because it's not just about, guys, it's not just about us flooding the streets because they're saying we're Antifa. It's not that, right? And it's not just about the cruel and unlawful and violent and inhumane dragging of families out of their homes in the middle of the night, children in their pajamas and naked, zip tying them and putting them in vans away from their parents. It's not just deporting kids away from their parents. It's not all of that. It's even more than that. This is how incompetent this administration is and how cruel it is. I need to share with you a clip from a reporter from ProPublica about food aid being destroyed. Let's play it.
President Donald Trump canceled 94 million pounds of food aid in the spring. And I gotta be honest with you, whenever I see a number like 94 million, I have a hard time picturing how much that is because the number just feels so big, right? So for us visual learners, our journalists here at ProPublica have made it so that you can visualize each truck here as a representation of a food delivery that never made it to feed hungry Americans. More than 4,300 deliveries were canceled between May and September across all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C. And food banks told us that the true loss is likely greater because not all of this year's deliveries had been scheduled. Records from the U.S. Department of Agriculture indicate that food banks were expecting more than 27 million pounds of chicken, 2 million gallons of milk, 10 million pounds of dried fruit, and 67 million eggs among the items that never arrived. To give you a sense of how much that is, lining up 67 million eggs would cover about 2,600 miles, which is about the distance to drive from Washington, D.C. to L.A. One of the food banks hit hard is the Food Bank of Central Louisiana. The nonprofit gets more than half of its food from the federal government and receives very little state support. The Trump administration canceled orders for the Louisiana Food Bank totaling over $400,000. And staff told ProPublica that the nonprofit used to distribute 25-pound packages of food, but that over the summer, some packages shrank to about half of that. The administration's cuts to this food assistance program have totaled $500 million. And this summer, Trump also signed into law the largest cut to food stamps in the program's history. All of these cuts come at a time when food insecurity is higher than at any time since the Great Recession. To read more, go to propublica.org or click on the link in bio.
So not only are they they're squeezing the working poor, the poor and the middle class, right? And what are they doing? They're using their leverage to do things like, as someone noticed, Donnie Pomeroy, yes, I did notice that Donald Trump's son Barron was given an executive job. He is still a student in college with no background. He has been, I think, is it on TikTok? I'm not sure where he was giving this particular job. Yes, I am aware of that. And so I also want to make you aware of something else. There's always some kind of grift going on. And this is where I want to just dive into follow the money. You may have been hearing about a swap agreement with Argentina. And I think those words may be confusing to people, right? What exactly, you might wonder to yourself, is a currency swap? Why $20 billion? There are people have questions, right? And so I'm going to try to share with you, some videos explaining this. But I think that the word currency swap sounds super fancy. But what it is this. Right now, the head of Argentina, a guy who came out with a chainsaw, right? This is far-right president, Javier Milei, right? Close ally of Donald Trump. And his country is going into the toilet. The currency is falling in value, right? And so the U.S. has decided to spend $20 billion purchasing the currency they use, the peso, so the Argentinian peso. And the thing with a swap, in theory, a swap is like a swap meet, right? Like in a swap, I know most swap meets, sometimes you bring cash. You see someone made a nice little macrame. I'm going back to the 70s, macrame plant hanger, right? And you think, okay, one way to do that is say, I'll pay you $2.50 for that really beautiful macrame plant holder. Or maybe you have brought your own lanyard, and think of a summer camp swap. And you could say, here's my lanyard for my keychain. I'll trade it for your macrame plant hanger, right? That is a swap. Another kind of way to swap is to say, you have that baseball card. I have this wacky pack card. We can trade it. That is what we mean by swap. Now, who though? What are they trading here? We're talking about, right? We're talking about 20 billion US dollars. Who is doing that? Who is giving that, right? This is the United States. That's us, the US Treasury, using our money. Are you with me on this? And spending $20 billion. Now, what are they buying? They're not buying macrame or lanyards or glass beads. They're buying a quantity of pesos. And you might think, well, that's fine, because if the pesos we are getting for our 20 billion with a B US dollars are actually worth 20 billion, that's cool. Now, what if they're not? What if the fact that we are purchasing with $20 billion a shit ton of pesos that aren't actually worth that? What does that do? It helps lift up the value of the peso, right? It helps lift the price of the peso. So that is what is going on. And you might say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Is it just to support his right-wing friend so he will win his election? Let's first watch this YouTube short so that you can see. Hold on. Okay. Okay. So I want to be able to share this with you. A very short video explaining what this swap is. And I had a very, very short explainer, and I don't know. I think I had a good one. Let's see this. I think I can do this. I hope this works. Okay. I think this is going to be a good one. Let me just share my screen. It's going to be Stephanie Rule, who's super good at this. Let's go. Oops.
The U.S. bailout of Argentina has been finalized. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced today that the United States directly purchased Argentine pesos as part of a $20 billion currency swap. But he insists the deal is not a bailout. So let's make something clear. Downplaying it as merely a swap agreement, exchanging pesos for dollars to stabilize their economy. Well, at the very least, that is not the full picture. Now, we might not be writing a direct $20 billion check to Argentina, but we are still taking enormous risk to help out a friend of the president who's up for re-election in a country that is in trouble. That's this guy right there on your screen, handing Elon Musk a bedazzled chainsaw. And Argentina is not a top trading partner for us. What is this? It is a massive loan. And if Argentina does default, and they may, it is a $20 billion loss for us. The Fed will be left holding a ginormous bag of pesos worth nothing. So you could call it a hidden bailout or a direct bailout. This is a huge win for Argentina, its president, and the group of U.S. investors Secretary Bessent knows very well who bet big on Argentina. So keep in mind, this is happening while the U.S. government is shut down. Thousands of furloughed federal workers are not getting their paychecks this week. So when we hear about America First, know this. This America First, in this instance, is the investor class.
Okay. Follow the money. Now, if you are not fuming right now, you should be. Scott Bessent, the banker, the sycophant, the excuse maker and liar for Donald Trump, is in the position he is to safeguard the assets of his richest fucking friends. His investor friends who've got investments in Argentina. Think about that. They dug up this money, $20 billion, in the middle of a shutdown where they are not just trashing, right? Even before the shutdown, cutting from all of us. You know, when you cut food support, you cut the opportunity for families to begin to thrive. When you cut schools, I don't even need to go on and on with you. They're threatening to break the law and fire people during this, not pay them during the furlough. There's all this going on, but there's more. Don't you want to hear Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent opine about the No Kings rally? This fucking selfish bastard who just arranged the bailout of another country at our expense to help his friends? It is crooks all the way down. So let's watch this video. This is Bessent, the grifter. And he's going to be talking about no kings because they've now decided that they think the Democrats will not negotiate with them on anything until the rally, which is helpful because we, the people, will show that we don't like Trump's policies. But it's more than that. When you hear him say, you know, basically they're saying fascism is the only way we're going to get anything. It's almost like Bessent thinks the Trump administration has a gun to our heads. Let's play.
In fact, they are waiting for this No Kings protest. You know, no kings means no paychecks and no government. And Maria,
I'm sorry, no kings means no paychecks? This is America, buddy. You fucking crook. Absolutely. Now, these people may never go to prison. I just need you to understand something. The bankers, after the financial crisis of 2008, and I know everyone loves to resuscitate and praise Preet Bharara, and a lot of my friends are friends with him. I was never a federal prosecutor, but I believe, and there's no question in my mind, that bankers could have been indicted. I wrote a whole book about this. You can read it. It's called Big Dirty Money. The fucking fact that this administration can target its political enemies, like Tish James, we'll talk about this, and get her indicted for supposed mortgage fraud, which is totally bullshit. But that the Obama administration could not find an indictment against the very bankers that the Securities and Exchange Commission and bank regulators were able to force personal settlements against, but they couldn't find a federal crime, is utter bullshit. And I've written about it before, but okay. The bankers, where I'm going with this is, it would be bad enough if there's no criminal accountability for these people, which there won't be, like Bessent and the bankers from before. But what's even worse than that is the same people who crashed our economy back in 2008, 2009, and almost brought the world financial system to its knees, actually did. Yeah, fine. They didn't go to prison, but people are still listening to these people and these types of people. Wouldn't it be nice if that didn't happen, right? Okay, I will go off on this at another time. Let's listen to Bessent again. I'm going to start at the beginning where he says, no kings means you don't get paid.
if in fact they are waiting for this No Kings protest, you know, no kings means no paychecks and no government. And Maria, I think the dirty secret here for why this has dragged on for so long is the Democratic friends in the mainstream media have been downplaying this shutdown. And this is getting serious. It's starting to affect the real economy. It's starting to affect people's lives.
We haven't been, I mean, I'm not even the mainstream media. I'm just me. No one's been playing down the shutdown. You have been playing down the future cuts, that the extension of the tax cuts for the billionaires, 100 millionaires, and corporations will have on people. And toward that end, I think that what you do need to see was, if you want to know what's going on in Donald Trump's mind, while he was golfing before he headed out to the Middle East, golfing with his granddaughter, who is his photogenic sidekick, he was out on the golf course. And he said, as he's driving around in his golf cart, as the government is shut down, he is saying, everyone's happy because I gave them a tax cut. That was what he was shouting out, he's saying to his granddaughter, they're happy because I gave them a tax cut. Well, guess what? We're tired of these lies. That is what the American people care about. And in addition to that, my friends, we are totally onto this guy, right? He is not just paying off his friends, right? But these crooks are thinking we don't notice it. They put JD Vance out in front of the camera, who is the smuggest son of a bitch that I have ever seen stand in front of a camera, who doesn't care that he is lying through his teeth and dodging the truth. And so let me tell you, J.D. Vance. Speaking of crooks, now, not this is, you might remember that Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, while in the run up to the 2024 election, that there had been a sting operation based on his behavior. You can't just do a sting operation if no one, to make a sting operation hold up against an affirmative defense of entrapment under the Supreme Court case Jacobson versus United States from the early 90s. The only way, let me just say this differently. If the federal government wanted to bring charges against someone who was caught in a sting operation, let's say doing something illegal, the defendant could raise the affirmative defense of entrapment, saying, the government came after me when I didn't have any propensity for wrongdoing. And they look at your behavior at the time the government starts the sting. And they started the sting, by the way, when they thought he was crooked, when he was working with someone involved in influence peddling. And the idea here was we had agents of the FBI posing as business people, going up to and meeting with Homan and a friend of Homan's, saying, if we give you money, like we'll give you $50,000 in cash in a shopping bag if you promise in the future to help us get contracts if you get connected with the government. That's what happened. We know that for a fact. What we also know is Homan took the $50,000 bag. We also know that when Donald Trump became president, the case was dropped. Okay, this is what we know. We also know, as I've mentioned, that it's hard to bring the case as bribery of a public official because he wasn't yet a public official, but there are other different theories of criminal conduct that could have been pursued. Furthermore, what you would normally do is you wouldn't hire this person for a high-level government position. And secondly, if you did, in order to continue the sting operation, you would continue it and get him to take more money from the FBI while he was in office, and then you'd prosecute him. That would be what I would do if I were president, in order to show everybody in my administration, if you think you're going to leverage your position with the government to cheat the American people and violate the law, you're going to prison. That's how I would do it. Instead, Donald Trump's people stopped the investigation. And on top of that, didn't even, apparently, ask for the money back, because probably he'd already spent it by then. And they also, as far as we know, didn't investigate as to whether he declared the $50,000 on his tax returns. And so J.D. Vance was asked about that this weekend. Let's look at that. I'm sorry. I just have this and it's in my downloads, and I just have to pull that up for you. Apologies. Okay. And let's play it.
Border czar Tom Homan was recorded on an FBI surveillance tape in September 2024, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money or give it back?
George, you've covered the story ad nauseum. Tom Homan did not take a bribe. It's a ridiculous smear. And the reason you guys are going after Tom Homan so aggressively is because he's doing the job of enforcing the law. I think it's really preposterous. I know Tom. I think that he's a good man. He gets death threats. He gets attacked. He gets constantly threatened by people because he has the audacity to want to enforce the country's immigration laws. I think that it would be a much more interesting story about why is it that Tom Homan, who is simply enforcing Americans' immigration laws, is getting constantly harassed and threatened to the point of death threats. That's a much more interesting question that I think journalists should focus on. We can agree to disagree on that question.
Well, wait, you said he didn't take a bribe, but I'm not sure you answered the question. Are you saying that he did not accept the $50,000?
George, this story has been covered ad nauseum. He did not take a bribe. Did he accept $50,000? I'm sure that in the course of Tom Homan's life, he has been paid more than $50,000 for services. The question is, did he do?
Okay. I, too, in the course of my life, my friends, have been paid over the course of my life more than $50,000 for my legal work, for my teaching, over the course of my life. However, my friends, if you and I'm not encouraging this, if anyone came to me, legal or not, and gave me a bag of cash, whether it be $50,000 or $5,000 or $500,000, it would be my obligation to report it as income. Number one. Number two, if someone gave me that cash in an attempt to get me to violate the law, but what I did was not a lawful violation, like it was the FBI, I would need to give it back. Now, is he suggesting that this was payment for services rendered? Cool. Show me his tax returns. I'll continue.
Do something illegal, and there's absolutely no evidence that Tom Homan has ever taken a bribe or done anything illegal, which is why he's working in the administration.
I'm asking you, did he accept the $50,000 that was caught on the surveillance tape? Did he accept that $50,000 or not?
George, I don't know what you're talking about. Did he accept $50,000 for what?
He was recorded on an audio tape in September 2024, an FBI surveillance tape, accepting $50,000 in cash. Did he keep that money?
Accepting $50,000 for doing what, George? I'm not even sure I understand the question. Is it illegal to take a payment for doing services? The FBI has not prosecuted him. I've never seen any evidence that he's engaged in criminal wrongdoing. Nobody has accused Tom of violating a crime, even the far left media like yourself. So I'm actually not sure what the precise question is. Did he accept $50,000? Honestly, George, I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is that he didn't violate a crime.
So you don't, what was caught on the tape, you're saying right now you don't know whether or not he kept that money?
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no...
You know, it doesn't make them look really great. It just doesn't. Now, if you hadn't gotten your fill of J.D. Vance, I'm sorry, I got one more thing. From him. And then I've got some other good stuff before the show ends, I promise, plus Crazy Town. Here is George Stephanopoulos asking J.D. Vance about Tish James. This is a study in contrast, right? Can't even answer the question as to whether Homan kept the money. The reason why they're not answering it is because he's probably already filed his tax return for 2024. He probably filed it in April. So they don't want to say he kept it, because he didn't declare it, is my thinking. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's look at him talk about Letitia James, nemesis of Donald Trump, the Attorney General of New York. Let's play this.
We saw the indictment this week of Letitia James on questions of mortgage fraud. Also, Lisa Cook has been accused by the Trump administration of committing mortgage fraud as well. The journalism outlet ProPublica has actually published a story, and I want to show it up on the screen right now, that says that several members of the Trump administration have faced similar questions. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer entered into 2 primary residence mortgages in quick succession. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has primary residence mortgages in New Jersey and Washington, D.C. Lee Zeldin, the Environmental Protection Agency administrator, has 1 primary residence mortgage in Long Island and another in Washington, D.C. How do you respond to critics who say that the Trump administration is engaging in a double standard here?
Well, I'd say 2 things, George. First of all, ProPublica is basically a left-wing blog. I'm not shocked that you found a left-wing blog that can attack members of the Trump administration.
Okay. ProPublica is a left-wing blog. It happens to publish its work online. It's not the right-wing blog that True Social is. ProPublica journalists have won Pulitzer Prizes. It is not biased toward any political party. He just, shoot the messenger. Let's continue.
But second, and this is the most important, is what does the law say? Letitia James was indicted in a left-leaning part of our country, a part that voted very heavily against Donald J. Trump for the crime of mortgage fraud. When I read the indictment, when I read the facts in the case, I see a person who committed mortgage fraud. Now, of course, the jury is going to decide whether she ultimately committed a crime.
Okay. I got very little for you beyond that when it comes to J.D. Vance. Now, I know I am very hungry for accountability, and I set expectations low. But you know who set expectations high, who I really like? A man who is running for Senate against U.S. Senate, against Susan Collins in Maine. Let's play this. And I'm sorry, I should give you a little more context. I think you have seen him. I think you have seen him before on this show. His name is Graham Planter. He is a Democratic candidate for Senate. He's a former Marine and U.S. Army veteran and also an oyster farmer. What's not to love? And this was at a town hall. Let's watch this.
Please share your feelings on ICE.
So right now, armed, masked, secret police are going around the country kidnapping American citizens, kidnapping people that are here legally, abusing people because of the color of their skin. It's disgusting. One of the reasons I want to go to the Senate is that when we have power again, I want to haul all of these people and the ones that made them do it in front of a Senate subcommittee, make them take their masks off. Explain to the American people how they can justify their illegal and unconstitutional behavior. So that's what I think about ICE.
And that's great. And I support that. My concern is we're about to give $75 billion when this, over this, I don't know, whether it's 5 years or 4 years for ICE, if this budget gets fully funded. And when you start having people's paychecks and livelihood depend upon cruelty and you start building more facilities, dismantling this is going to be ugly and difficult. That's why we need to get the Republicans out of power in Congress, first step, and then out of the White House. Now, before I get to Crazy Town, I do want to show one clip from Donald Trump's address to the Knesset, the Israeli parliament today. And of course, it's all about him, but there was this extra crazy piece right here.
If in fact they are waiting for this no kings.
I'm sorry, that was Bissent. Let's play this.
But it also means this name change and our attitude that we're not going to go into a war. But if we do, we're going to win that war like nobody has ever won a war before. We will not be politically correct, but we're not going to be there. And I think, as you mentioned, Bibi, before, peace through strength.
Okay. So he's talking about his Department of War, and maybe he'll have a war, maybe he won't. His praising Bibi Netanyahu is not popular in Israel. There was loud booing when Netanyahu's name was mentioned in the, early this morning, our time, very early this morning, our time, around, 8:30 in the morning in Israel. Okay. I have got some crazy town for you. You ready? I think you are. Let's go. Tomorrow, if I'm wearing an octopus suit during the whole show, it's going to be crazy the whole time. I don't know how this is going to go. Not tomorrow. I mean, Wednesday in the suit. I think I need to figure out a way to take the suit off. I don't know how I'm going to do the whole show in the suit, but we'll see. Okay, here's Crazy Town. Donald Trump was on social media because he's obsessed now with trying to justify the fact that he pardoned violent insurrectionists, pardoned violent people who were convicted. This is like over 1,500 people, breaking into the Capitol after he encouraged them to be there. Remember, he's gone back and forth between saying, we love you, now go home, at the end of the day, after, we almost had the election not certified and almost had him engage in this self-coup and stay in office. Remember that? Now they're trying to flip the script and claim that the whole thing was actually a setup in the FBI, and none of the people that were, I don't know, those 1,500 people, they weren't agents, but other people were and made them do what they did. It's kind of insane. But here's the craziest thing. Let's look at this. Donald Trump put this up on Friday. The Biden, and I'm quoting him, the Biden FBI placed 274 agents into the crowd on January 6th. If this is so, which it is, a lot of very good people will be owed big apologies. What a scam. Do something. Okay, guys, let me just slow this down, slow his roll here. On January 6th, 2021, January 6th, 2021, right? Donald John Trump was president of the United States. Donald Trump. Joe Biden did not become president until January 20th at noon. So I am trying to understand how Biden could have put anyone anywhere. Okay? The man is off his nut. And with that, let me play for you the beautiful music from our mod, Jason. Also, thank you, Deb and AJ. By the way, it is not AJ's birthday today, even though I wished her a happy birthday. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning, maybe with a surprise guest. We shall see. It's in the works. It's in the works. Okay. See you in the morning.
Hello, prison mates. It's the Gen Taub show where welcome everyone. Let's learn about what is happening in politics yesterday and today. There was hope, and we are together in this democracy we work for. And again, welcome to the Gen Taub show.